What is happening, everybody? Welcome to the show. Welcome to another Wednesday night. Hey, sorry we're a couple minutes, 15 minutes past our normal schedule time. I got stuck in a meeting and had to, you know, uh, move the show just a little bit. But hey, as always, my buddy John with you. Johnny, how you doing, pal?
What's up, brother?
Not much, not much, not much. Um, say his name and he appears. What's up, Big John? How you doing, buddy? Hope all is well.
What's up, Dommy?
Dommy, how are you? Hope all is well, man. You know, going ahead, and I mean, it's you're coming off a week. We had the World Series and stuff. Finished up over the weekend and everything, and you know, I don't know. It's funny, but Saturday night, like I don't know, at some I know like as just before the game ended, and then right after the game ended, I actually sold through eBay. I had 8 Yamamoto rookie cards go ahead and sell.
That is just amazing. But you see how the pool is on it when he does good.
Yeah. Hey,
Welcome.
Lockin, how you doing? How's it going? But there's a story now coming out, that and the one guy tried to be keen about it. I don't know if you know. So the two guys that caught the home run balls, the one that called Miguel, what's his name, Rojas?
Rojas, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about that guy, and then they had the other guy who caught Will Smith's. Now they're both saying that they want like $2 million for their baseball. But here's the one thing: the one guy, his name is John Baines. He was the guy who caught Rojas's ball. Well, he's a little snake in the grass because what happened was he had an extra ball in his pocket. If you watch the video, he catches it, and everybody's saying, throw it back, throw him back. And he kind of turns to the side, and you see his hand go in his pocket. And you literally see he come up. He puts his hand in his glove, does the old switcheroo, and then throws the one from his pocket out into the crowd. And now he's showing the ball. So now, people are going to be, now there should be people going, hold on, time out. Now, again, anybody with half a brain can see that there was the switch, but if you're not paying attention, you wouldn't do it. So, but yeah, so they're they want to auction off. So it's a father and a son that caught the balls. I guess the balls were both in the same area. So the father caught the game tying ball, and the son caught the the Will Smith's ball. And now, according to this, I forgot what it was. They're saying, that they want, I guess it was $2 million or whatever it is, like they think, because like Freddie Freeman's walk-off grand slam balls sold for 1.5 million. So now, they're saying, $1 million for the Rojas ball, and the other guy saying I'll take 1.5 million for the home run, for the game winning one. But it's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I get it, but let's be realistic. It ain't like, I mean,
it's not a Shohei, it's not a Freddie Freeman, it's not a big name person, so maybe 50 grand, if that. I mean, there'll be some dumbass that'll pay the 1 million, whatever it is, but
definitely. There's definitely going to be somebody who's going to, but that just goes to show you. I mean, the memorabilia, the stuff like that, and everything. They'll be somebody. I mean, I would think. I mean, I say I mean, like if I'm Will Smith, and I have a pretty decent contract. I think I try and see, hey, if I could work out a deal with the guy. I'm not going to give you $1.5 million, but can I give you, a bat, a glove, I'll give you, I'll fly you out to the Dodger, for a 3-game series, 4-game series. I
Yeah.
I'll give you, 100,000 cash or 200, but I'm not giving you 1.5 million.
No.
And then Miguel Rojas, I mean, I, you're, I mean,
It's
who
just
really out there is a
amazing.
big Miguel Rojas fan, unless other than his mom, dad, bro, it's just the kids, their wife.
I mean, there might be some out there, but not many.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting, how all that works. I think it's like I said, to me, it's very, I guess, cool in a way that it is a father and a son, from that standpoint.
And Locke is right. It's right. It's about the moment.
No, I do agree, but the
But I
the
agree with
play
his other
the
statement
the
too.
player involved is going to mean something. If Ohtani hit that game tying home run, that
They're
ball
asking
is
for
worth
5
more
million.
than Miguel Rojas.
Yeah.
If Mookie Betts hits it, that's worth more, money. You know what I'm saying? From that, I mean, so I do agree it's the moment, but it is, the player does matter, somewhat,
Yeah.
in that whole thing.
I agree.
I mean, and we were out in Arizona, the World Series winner. World Series winner should be worth a lot more than the Freeman home run.
I can understand. I can see that too.
Yeah, I agree. I can definitely see that and everything. We were actually out in Arizona for the weekend. We went there for a wedding. My my buddy's good friend of mine, good for a long, probably one of the oldest friends that I have as far as years. We've been friends for 40 years, 41 years, something. His daughter got married, so we went out there for that and everything. And on Saturday, they got married on Friday. They got married on Halloween, but it was not a Halloween wedding.
Wedding.
It was just a normal reception and everything. And then on Saturday, we went back to their house. They had family over. We was sitting there eating everything like that. And then we watched. We actually put the game on and watched the game at his house and everything. And it was cool watching it. It was. I mean, out of this series, it was the first. It was the first game that I watched, from beginning to end and everything, and it was interesting how it turned out. I didn't, yeah, I wasn't sure. When Bo Bichette hit that home run, I was like, oh boy, you know, but I just wonder, from a standpoint, it's like, now how many people are going to come out and be like, oh, you see, Dodgers again, all that money and blah 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 and everything, and I guess I'm I'm not one of those salary cap guys. I mean, and I don't know if it's growing up in New York and watching George Steinbrenner, basically, do the same, um, the same type of thing that we've seen the Dodgers go ahead and do, and even the Mets do, for that matter of fact.
Yeah.
And the Red Sox and all this other kind of stuff, doing stuff. I mean, I really, I mean, I don't, to me, like, if you're gonna have, like, I don't, number one, I don't know how you institute a salary cap. Number one, but number two, you have to have some kind of floor. You can't allow, because even if you said, "Hey, the salary cap is going to be, I don't know, pick a number, 250 million, right?" Which
Right.
is crazy, but and it's crazy to say that $250 million is crazy. That's like it's like a double crazy statement. It's
This.
crazy to say it's 250 million. 250 million is a lot of freaking money, for crying out loud.
Mhm.
But how do you go ahead and how do you, like, what my question was for people who were talking about, like, the CBAs and so on and so forth, the new CBA, it's like, okay, I get it, but how do you institute that? Like, how do you take all those teams that are over 250 million and say, hey, guess what? You have to get under 250 million. So do they just have to cut a crap ton of players?
That's true. That would be rough.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and because I can't imagine they'd say, okay, hey, guess what, guys? What we're gonna do? We're gonna renegotiate all the contracts now, percentage wise, to get down to 250 million. So I'm sorry, I know you were getting 30 million, but you have to figure out how to live off of 25.
Cool.
It might only be 3, but it's three that have it's 3 that it has to happen to.
Yeah.
Got to give those teams like 10 years. I'm just wondering how to do it. But to me, it makes no sense to have a cap if you're not going to have a floor.
Right.
Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you could figure out a number, but even if you said the highest you could go is 250, I mean, what, are you still going to be okay with teams that have 70?
Yeah. Got a point
You
there.
know,
It's gonna, if they do it, it's gonna be rough on how they do it. I don't see it happening, but
I mean, the only way it happens is, number one, the owners have to want it, and the owners have to be willing to go ahead and lock the players out for a long time for it to be painful for for all the players.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because if you're not, if you're going to say you're going to do it, and then you go ahead and be like, oh well, wow, oof, a month of the season is gone, 2 months of the season is gone, 3 months of the season is gone. Like, I guess how important is it to all of the owners to have a salary cap?
right.
And which owners? I mean, I can't believe that the Dodgers want one,
Or the Mets.
right? Or the Yankees, or potentially the Red Sox, the Chicago Cubs. Again, Larkin said, there's 3 teams over 250. I don't know. I just picked that number, Larkin. You could make it 200. You could make it 175 million. I don't know what the number is. Like, I don't know how you figure out what a good number is. And does it go? And is it like football? Does it go up? Is it like basketball? Does it go up each year? Do you have, like basketball? Do you have bird rights? So if you re-sign your own free agent, the cap number is different. Like, I don't know how. To me, Cubs always crying poor, letting Tucker walk. Yeah, that's some other stuff. I want to go ahead, and talk about that and everything. Amazing the number of players who have opted out. Cap is based off of league-wide revenue. That might be what it's in basketball. It might be what it's in football, but we don't know if the MLB would do the same thing. But teams like Oakland are examples of why. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They do. But here's the thing. So, how high would, again? Look, it's we're playing with money that we'll never understand. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Dami. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're playing with email. We're playing with numbers that in reality it's very hard for us to understand.
What's up, Sean?
What's up, Shawnee? But
it's money we couldn't even comprehend.
Right, you can't comprehend. So what I'm saying though is like how do you think? Like, I think, to me, the cap is the easy one, right? The cap is the easy one, but
how you implement that cap is going to be the issue,
right? And then how do you pick the floor? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing that gets to me. How do you go ahead and and do the how do you go ahead and do the floor?
I mean, you take the team's lowest, the team that has the lowest, like, amount of money out there with players, or
Well, I don't know if I can make this bigger. I don't know how it's going to show. Let me see if I can do something over here with this
list here, but
Say that again.
I don't know who like has the lowest payroll, but maybe they go that way with who the team that has the lowest payroll. All right, that's going to be our floor.
Well, Dom just sent something. I'm going to see if I can share it and we can take a look at it. And it actually is interesting. It's, in my opinion, it is very interesting.
That is true, Locke, and I have to agree with you.
Speak for yourselves. Dom works input. So look at the bottom there, and I don't know if you could see that.
I gotta make it bigger. Hang on a minute.
Miami Marlins, their 25 payroll and tax is $86 million. Their 2024 revenue was $317 million.
So do you make the floor 86 million or say 90 million?
No, I mean, but that's, I mean, look at it. Boston, yeah, their payroll was 242 million, but their revenue was 547, almost double. There it is, the percentages right there. You know, payroll versus the revenue. You know, so what they're saying is that, for instance, the New York Mets, their revenue versus their payroll and revenue is 90%. Like their payroll is 90% of their revenue.
Yeah.
You know, the Dodgers was 73. And you come all the way down over here, Miami was
27%.
27% of their payroll was revenue.
So maybe you take it at 50% of your revenue,
Hey, Anna, how you doing?
which would put you like
I mean, I agree with you, Locke, but what they're going to have to open their books. We can only go by whatever data we have right here. If we're using, I mean, you know, so you have these teams, you know, at their revenue versus their earnings, you know, or their payroll is super low. So that's what I'm saying. Like, what do you go ahead and do? You know, even if you said, hey, we're gonna make it 200 million, you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You have 13 teams that had over a $200 million payroll. So almost half the league.
Yeah.
At over 200. Okay. So if you said it was, you know, if you said it was 225, you get to take 2 teams off. So that would, let's say, take 3 teams. So let's say there's 10 teams and you say, okay, you're at $225 million. What good is it, you know, if you're going to have teams in the 80s?
Yeah.
The cap would murder teams like the Mets because all that money they are paying players that are gone counts against them. Agreed. That's what I'm saying. That's what I don't understand. That's why I get I get the idea of wanting the cap. I mean, I understand why people want it, right? Because they see what the Dodgers are doing. You know, oh, the Dodgers, their payroll and everything was 549 million. Their pay between their payroll and their taxes. You know, they circumvented some stuff by doing the deferred payments and all that kind of stuff. I get that part, and I guess, you know, what would suck for them is in 10 years when Ohtani retires, that number to me would be part of their payroll. So I get that completely. I have no issue with wanting to. I mean, I don't like the idea of a cap. I don't want a cap.
I think if you see it, it's going to be like a 500 million floor. with the contracts being as big as they are lately, I can see that.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is like I get the whole thing. I understand it, and I'm okay with it that people that want a cap. If you but here's my thing for this. If you think a cap is going to make things more competitive for people, for teams, then the floor has to be really, really high too.
Yeah.
You can't have a $250 million cap and $100 million floor. You can't.
No.
You can't, because if you're the Pittsburgh Pirates, okay, I spent, if you're the Miami Marlins or you're the Chicago White Sox, what's your payroll? My payroll is 101 million.
Yeah.
I'll overpay a couple of guys to keep them. I got them. Like you're saying, like, Miami Marlins, their 2025 payroll was 86 million. Okay, you got to come up with $14 million. I signed one. I signed one free agent. I pay one starting pitcher, free agent that doesn't deserve to go ahead and get it, $14 million, and I put him on my roster. And
Just
there
a
you
second.
go. I'm at my floor. What does it do for what does it do for them?
Nothing.
That's the part that gets me. It's like, I don't know. I know hockey has I know the NHL has a floor. But I'd have to look and see, what the delta is between the two. But it's got to be something. If the idea is to make the teams competitive, it's gotta be something that they have to be able to go ahead and get to. Maybe it has to be 150 million. Maybe there has to be 100 million difference, right? 250 at the top, 150 is your floor. You figure that. Yeah, like the A's could do that with a Sevy, with a Severino. All right, hey, we'll go ahead and we'll pay the crap out of you. You don't deserve it, but that helps us go ahead and get that number up.
Right.
So we'll see. But man, I'll tell you, a lot of guys going ahead and opting out. A lot of names, a lot of big name guys, opting out. Pete Alonso and Edwin Diaz for the Mets. The crummy team spent more money, they would be better, which brings more fans in. That's true. That's 100% true. But here's my whole thing with it, and I know, so what's his name? Rob Manfred was on, and he said there are two things that he would like to go ahead and accomplish before he is done. One, expansion. He wants to expand and add. He didn't say how many more. He wants expansion. And then he wants to do regionalized realignment. So like, for instance, like one of the arguments that were made is, look at the National League West. Dodgers, Padres, Giants, Diamondbacks, and the Rockies. There's definitely three teams that want to win. Those three California teams, they want to. Arizona does like just enough and everything. And then you got the Rockies, which, that may never be a good franchise. That may be one of those ones where, unless you get somebody who's going to spend a whole bunch of money. I know what they did when they had like Dante Bichette and Galarraga and Todd Helton and those guys there and everything. I get all that and stuff, but you didn't have teams willing to spend the way they spend today.
No, not at all.
Expansion should wait until the league doesn't have two teams playing in spring training stadiums. Well, that's true. I mean, one was because of a hurricane, so I get that part, right? That's them. And the other one, they decided to move and stuff like that. So who knows? For instance, when they become the Las Vegas Athletics, which I'm assuming they're going to keep that name. I'm assuming they're going to keep the A's name. When they become the Las Vegas Athletics, do they all of a sudden decide they want to spend more money now? Like, does the owner all of a sudden be like, "Hey, I can spend more money now. I got fans coming to the ballpark." Well, maybe if you didn't put a crap product on the field,
You would
you
have.
would have had fans coming to the freaking stadium.
I mean, maybe they do another region like you have, because you have the
That's that on, yeah.
east, west, and you have the middle. There, why don't you have one there where you have the mountain time? Where you'd have Colorado, Arizona could be in there. They could add 2 or 3 other teams and others. You could have a Utah one.
Well, the thing that gets me is what I'm curious about is when that happens, is American and National League gone?
Yeah, you'd have to figure out how to fix that.
Do when you regionalize, do you take the Mets, the Yankees, the Red Sox, and let's say you're doing 4-team division, and the Phillies? But yeah, let's go ahead and take, let's go ahead and have those media markets all in one. They would get zero TV money. I don't think you're you're wrong, but I'm just saying that's what he had said. He said the 2 things that he would like to see happen before he leaves as commissioner is expansion and regional realignment. So again, so let's throw history. And I know people are going to go, well, look, the hockey did it. And all this other kind of crowd. Football went ahead and I understand that. I understand that. But if you're gonna regionalize, again, you take, if you regionalize it and then you have balanced schedules, does that go ahead and change everything? Because do you take, basically, what, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and do you take Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and I don't know who else, because if you figure if you have Minnesota, you can put with the White Sox and the Cubs, and stuff like that. So I mean, then you have Seattle. Where does Seattle go ahead and go? Once you did a West Coast one and you did the 3 California teams and Seattle, if you're doing 4 teams. And where you're going to expand to? You're going to expand to, if you want to try and expand, like there was talk about Nashville and about Charlotte. Okay, I think you're going to have to talk to the baseball team from Georgia, because I think that's kind of sort of like in their region thing. Because I know that like when I go to North Carolina and, during the summers, if I want to, sit there and go on my MLB app, can't watch the baseball team from Georgia when I'm in Lexington, North Carolina. That game is considered a blackout. Rocky Point, well, man, maybe they'll just convert the Ducks to a major league team, Dom.
There you go.
Take the Long Island Ducks.
I know there's been talk of bringing back Montreal. I've heard that.
Boy, remember that stupid idea they had with Tampa?
That's true, yeah.
Half their games in Tampa, half their games in Montreal. It's like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, who would go ahead and like agree? This is great, yeah. We get 40 home games. Woohoo!
Could you have the Blue Jays? Is there any other Canadian teams?
That's it.
Yeah, so I mean, I can see them expanding maybe 1 or 2 more teams up that way, but that's rough too.
But again, where I think you have to look at it from a standpoint of, I think Montreal, I think you could draw I don't know if you go the other way or this way. If you go out west, what your draw could be.
Sean,
Nashville, Austin,
teams in
San
Texas.
Antonio. Huh?
There's enough teams in Texas already.
Yeah. You don't
Put
need
one in
Austin or San.
Oklahoma or Nebraska or Iowa.
Yeah.
How about a team from North Dakota for Brandon?
There you go.
Not that you're going to get anybody to go, but
Right. I think to me, if you're looking, again, I don't know what he didn't say what the number is, but I would think a place like Nashville, who they look at the hockey, they look at hockey, they look at football doing well. I think honestly, one city that I think they would look at, which to me deserves absolutely nothing because of other reasons, is Portland, because they figured, hey, we can do something with with Seattle, but I don't know why you'd want to add. And if you're doing a regionalized type thing, I don't know why you'd want to add another team to the West Coast time zone, unless you would have unless this realignment. Well, there's 30 right now,
is it 30?
32 teams.
They're at 32.
So 32. So you got to figure he'd probably, if you wanted to do some kind of regional thing, if you want it, you either have to go. I mean, you'd have to go either 4 teams to get to 36, where you could do 9 regions of 36 of 4 teams, and you could have you could do something with it. Or you can go to 35 and you can do 7 regions of 5. But who the hell knows? 4 years with a lockout looming, he isn't accomplishing anything before. I agree. I don't think it will. Oh, there's 30 baseball teams.
I mean, do you put a team in Washington State?
If you do that, it'd be Portland. Well, no, Washington already has Seattle.
Oh, yeah. You'd have to put one in Oregon, like you said. Then it'd be Oregon.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't. I mean, why don't you expand to Alaska and Hawaii while you're at it,
Mexico?
I've heard some about that.
I mean, look what football's doing. I mean, who the hell knows what's happening with them? I mean, again, here we are another week with another game, more games they're in Germany. They were in Ireland, they were in London, they're going to Germany now. And I'm not saying Utah would try, because now they have a hockey team, so they got hockey and basketball. A baseball wouldn't be bad.
What are they going to be called, Dom? The Salt Lake Saltines? I mean, come on. The Utah Morons? I don't know. I could see them trying, though. I could see possibly New Orleans getting a team. They have Saints, so they have a stadium. Technically, they could convert into a stadium. That could be a possibility. The Provolones. I like that.
That's interesting. Yeah, so we got this week, we have a game in Berlin. Then next week, we have a game in so week 10 of football, you have Berlin. Week 11 in football, they're in Madrid, Spain.
I think that's us in Madrid with the Dolphins.
It is. So you're talking about, and weren't they in Brazil for opening day?
I think so. Somewhere
if I
down
remember correctly. So football is trying to go everything. Provolones, I like that one. They smell like cheese. What's your home? No, Tom. Sorry, Dom, but I'm just.
Yeah, I have one. It's called the Mets.
I don't think anybody's gonna want to go ahead and, I mean, people love you, Dom. I'm just not sure they want to come visit your hometown. It has to be more of a destination place. So I don't know. I don't know what expansion looks like. To me, again, you expand with 2 more teams. Now more talent. So if you institute a cap, which also institutes a floor, now you start paying players more money than they don't deserve.
No, they're doing that now.
But no, that's what I'm saying. I said now you pay more players
Oh yeah.
money that they don't deserve, because what's going to happen is they're going to say, well, you're worth 3 years, $30 million. Huh?
I'll be right back.
Yeah. What I'm saying? Like now they're saying, well, hey, you're worth 3 years at $30 million, 10 million a year, but because we have this floor, we'll pay you 36 million and we'll give you two more to make it 12 million, even though you really may not have earned that salary. That's my thing that I don't like about it and stuff. Now, I guess from a throw some hobby talk in. I mean, now all of a sudden, uh, man, you're talking about sets. I mean, you talk about all of a sudden now, 700 card, 900 card, 1,000 card sets as they're trying to go ahead and get all these, cards out there. And then, the all the extra one of ones and autographs and all the other kind of stuff. I mean, I'm not sure, kind of to your point, Dom, when you have two teams that, aren't playing in good standings, but I'm not sure really MLB should be talking about expansion. I mean, it already a fortune to go to a game. I mean, it's not like, if you add more teams, all of a sudden it's going to become cheaper. It's not, not going to be cheaper to go when they add more teams. Where are these teams going to play? Like we would just, Dom, you mentioned about, having to play in a minor league stadium. So how long does it take? Like when, to your point, Lockin, he has 4 years left on his contract. Even if you were agreed to, expansion right now, hey, we want to expand. Okay, you go through the process, open it up. What's the minimum fee? Are they going to do like they do in hockey or in the other ones? Hey, it's X you know X millions of dollars as a franchise fee, and then okay, how long does it take to go ahead and build a stadium for these teams? Look how long it's taken them to do it in Las Vegas, right? So now you're gonna add to it, or is it one of those things? Well, hey, guess what? We really want you, and there's a minor league team in this area, so you can go ahead and play in that minor league stadium while we build you a new stadium. How does that make anything better? So I don't know. I don't like it. To me, I know you can't go ahead and what do you call it? You can't, retract teams and say, hey, you know what? If we're not going to have a team here, X, Y, and Z, we're taking these two teams away or so. Man, I know you can't do that. That'll go over really really bad, with fans and stuff. So I don't know. I just it's a very interesting thing, very interesting. But like I was saying, a lot of opt-outs, a lot of opt-outs in Major League Baseball, and it isn't just uh it isn't just what do you call it, just not isn't just like stars. It's just a bunch of other guys, and there are guys that are uh what do you call it? There's a bunch of guys who have who've gone ahead and opted out this year. Who I don't know why they did. I think personally, my own personal things, I think, I think some of it has been maybe, I don't want to say bad advice. I kind of get it, but like I look at an Alex Bregman, right? Alex Bregman, he had 2 years, $80 million left on his contract. Like I'm just wondering how much more can Alex what's he gonna try and get? Like he had $40 million a year. Is he just gonna go ahead and try and add years and a few million? I mean, could someone offer him 3 years for 100? Is it 3 years for 90? Like, or is the thought process, oh man, I had a year. People are gonna offer me, you know, $40 million a year again. I just don't see that. I don't know about that one. Um, Bellinger makes sense. He'll get more than 80, but will he get more per year? Walken, do you think he'll get more than 40 million a year? That's what I'm saying. Like I could see them, I could see maybe he goes, even if he wants to say back to Boston. I could see if they go, okay, hey, you know what? We'll give you, I don't know how old he is, but let's say he's 30 years old. All right, hey, we'll give you 4 years, at 120 million, so that would be, that 30 million a year. Do you think he's going to do you think he will keep at 40 million, or do you think he's really just adding more another couple of years, and again, yeah, I believe he will get more than 40 million. I mean, more than 80 million, but I was looking at the per year price. Um, You know, Cody Bellinger made sense. He had 1 year left at 25 million. So I can understand him going and seeing if he can maybe get like a 3 year contract, somewhere. Um, he would get more than 3 years. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I don't think I can't believe he'll get 4 years, 160 million. I can't believe somebody's going to pay Alex Bregman 40 mil a year. He could go ahead and get the He could go ahead and get the 4 years, but to me, I think it might be at 120 million, which is still crazy to go ahead the way we talk about dollar
Yeah.
football. I tell you, the big one that surprised the hell out of me was the Shota Imagina.
Oh yeah.
That one I was very, very surprised about. That how they didn't offer him. I mean, he had a 3 year, $57 million team option, or a 1 year, $15 million player option. So when the team declined his 3 year, he even said, nope, you know what? I'm not even going to take the $15 million option, which makes sense.
Right.
Which makes sense because there's a guy who could definitely probably get a 3 year contract and get more than 15 and average it more than 15 million a year.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't realize he had an opt out either. That's why when somebody said, I was like, "What? What do you mean?
He's a
What do you
pitcher
mean?"
that
Shorter had
he could
this would
probably get 2025 at least.
yeah, this would suck. I mean, but don't put anything past the Dodgers. Don't put anything past the Dodgers. But that one surprised me. Alonso didn't surprise me. Even though he had a 3 year deal, it really was only a 2 year deal. Because the third year would have been a team option. So he opted out, which made sense. That shouldn't be a shock to anybody, because if anybody who was watching the last game of the year when they were doing the interview with him, he said, "No, I'm." He already had decided at that point that he was opting out. So I get that one. Edwin Diaz, all indications are that Edwin Diaz, he had 2 years, 37 million left. All the indications are is that he will be back with the Mets. That they will work something out. They'll add, a year or two onto that and some more money. He'll be okay. But again, Robert Suarez, the saves leader for the MLB, and the guy from San Diego. His makes sense. He
Right.
had 2 years and $16 million left on his contract. So now it makes sense. But then you realize he's 35 years old.
Right.
So I can see him going ahead and getting a 3 or 4 year deal, and he'll probably get more than $8 million a year. So that makes sense. Jack Flaherty opted out, but he re-signed with Detroit already. Trevor Story, he didn't opt out from what they're saying. I think he decided to stay. Bieber opted out, but he's going to resign. They already said that Bieber's going to resign with Toronto. Um, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with a bunch of these things. I think some of these guys. I hope they made the right decision. I don't know, but I look when they put the contracts together. They had them in that. They had those in there for a reason. I give these guys credit for betting on themselves. I don't necessarily know if every single one of them did better than what their contract was, but I
Right.
understand why they did what they did. It makes
I know
sense to
we
me.
picked up Blake Butera as our coach, which should be interesting.
Where does he come from?
Doesn't say where. It just says he's the youngest coach in the league since 1972. He's 33.
Oh wow,
See where he comes from.
33.
Looks like a New York team. I'm not seeing where he came from. Hails from Madisonville, Louisiana. So he was for the Hudson Valley Renegades. He was the
Hudson
bench
Valley
coach.
Renegade.
This is in Fishkill, New York.
Yeah. Is that a part of Washington's organization?
I don't think so.
So he's not even a he's not even a he's not even in the same, I don't want to say silo, but it's not like he's not from within. So he's definitely an outsider.
I think so. I'm gonna look to see. No, it's a Yankees affiliate.
Oh wow.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing what kind of moves they made. If they bought any players, it looks like all management positions.
Mm.
Like president of baseball operations. Ryan Zimmerman is the Nats bench coach. That should be pretty decent.
That's good. Trey Hillman from Japan's going to the Royals. Dom says hello to the CEO. The CEO says hello. Never played or coached in the majors before. Hillman? Wow.
So there's a possibility we trade Gore and CJ Abrams.
Ah.
Let's see, Josh Bell, Paul DeYoung, Derek Law were all free agents. So I'm okay with that because they're old. And Josh Bell isn't terrible, but he's kind of like
okay, that's right. Trey Hillman was with the Royal. I got you. Right. My bad. I misread your message. Sorry there, Lachlan. Yeah, worked just as you would expected. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Who was it? Somebody else? Might have, for all I know, it could have been the Mets, but I think that there was a team who hired a position coach. I don't know if it's maybe hitting or pitching, whatever, or it might have been a hitting coach who never played minor league baseball, never played professional baseball. The most he played was Division II. But for some reason, he's going to be able to teach these guys how to hit.
looking at us, it looks like we might go after Dylan Cease. If we don't go after,
Cease is gonna get. He's gonna have a lot of teams talking to him.
they're saying we wouldn't go after Bregman because we don't go after big hitters in free agency, which is typical of the teams in DC. Zach Little, Merrill Kelly, and Zach Eflin are the three that they're looking to go after. And we need hitters too, you know.
Kelly was a guy that thought there'd be a lot more action with him at the trading deadline because he was a free agent, and I don't think there was not as much as people thought.
So is Alonso the same with the Mets then, or did he opt out in free agency?
He opted out. I believe they're in that window where they can work something out, but I just don't see. I don't know. There's too much. There's too much stuff going on around there. I mean, at his end of season press conference, the GM talked about run prevention. They want run prevention. They want run prevention, and that was going to be the theme. What they're trying to improve on and stuff. And Pete, was not that bad. At first base. For the Mets, he was. One of the top National League, first baseman as far as fielding. Now, again, it's not like he lit it on fire from defensively, but he wasn't horrible. So they had the 5-day window. So they basically Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They basically have until the exclusive windows end tomorrow. I don't know. I mean, I cannot, Pete wants to come back, and people are going to go, well, then why did he go ahead and opt out if he wanted to come back? Well, because you know what? It was in his contract and he could. I can't go ahead, I can't blame the guy for doing it. I don't think there's going to be as big a market for him as people think there will be. Or I think as he thinks it'll be.
They're saying he could get $140 million contract.
I think the biggest competition for Pete Alonso is going to be from the other New York team.
That's what they're saying. That's where he's probably going to go.
Yeah.
They're predicting Dylan Cease to get $174 million.
Which
that's a free agent. He projected $212 million.
Yeah, Red Sox is another one for Pete. There were some people who said, could Tampa go ahead and be a sleeper, because he's from that area. Would they bring him back? Would they bring him home and stuff? But I think, Red Sox or Yankee, if he doesn't re-sign, I think it'll be with the Red Sox or the Yankees. I think if it got to the two of them in a bidding type war, I personally think you would see the Yankees try and go ahead and offer more. Hey, you grab Soto from us. We're gonna go ahead and grab a more popular player from you. We're gonna take a lifer from you.
I'd love to see the Nats get Alonso, but I know that ain't going to happen.
Yeah, I mean Tampa, they do have new owners. We'll see. Hopefully they can. They'll spend more and stuff. But I don't know. You can't tell these days. Because every time you have, nothing against Milwaukee, right? We haven't every time you have a team like Milwaukee, that has one guy who's considered a superstar in Kristen Yelich, and they do what they did, and they have $135-140 million payroll, and they get to the playoffs. Yes, they were frauds and they got beat up, but people look and they go, "Hey, man, if we have $135 million payroll and we make it to the playoffs and we win, our division, we're going to put a lot of cash in our pockets." Because of that chart from Dom, Milwaukee basically made $200 million. If you look at the 2024 revenue to the 2025 payroll, there's $200 million difference.
Yeah. I'm looking at it here. They're saying Kyle Tucker can get close to
Dodgers,
500 million.
Dodgers, and that's the big rumor that he's going to go to the Dodgers.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, that makes sense. They're saying Skubal and Bobichette will stay in the places that they're at. Alonso and Bregman trade places.
Yeah, and see, and I mean, I understand the reasoning for that because Bregman is a better fielder. But I can understand if they went ahead and played the same position, but they don't. But what do you do then? If you let Pete Alonso go and you have Bregman, okay, so now you have Mark Vientos, you got to do something with, maybe full-time DH, who knows? You got Brett Beatty, you got to do something with. I don't know. Do you make him your everyday second baseman and trade Jeff McNeil? And you have Ronnie Mauricio.
Yeah.
So if you sign Bregman for 4 years, what are you doing with the rest of the players and everything? Yeah, Skubal is not a free agent. He has 1 year left. But Detroit's going to trade him.
They're saying he's not going to be traded. He's going to stay in there, but I doubt it. And they're saying Arenado goes to Philly, and the Phillies ship Alec Boehm off elsewhere.
Yeah, I don't know, Dom. I think Tucker will get. I think he'll get north of 300. I don't think he'll get anywhere near 500 like people are saying, but I think he'll get close to 300. He's still young. I mean, I don't know how old he is, but he's. I think Kyle Tucker is fairly young.
Marlins are going to keep Alcantara.
Yeah, that one stinks.
Cease is going to settle for a 1-year contract. I don't know about that.
Chris Sale re-signed with the baseball team from Georgia. And looks like the former first base coach from the Mets and the former pitching coach from the Mets, they are gonna go and now coach for the baseball team from Georgia. Yu Darvish has UCL surgery. He's out for 2026.
How long is Acuna signed for? Does anybody know? I mean, I could look it up, but I don't feel like it.
Kyle Tucker was born in 1997. So he's what? 25, 20. He's 27 years old. He'll get at least 300 million.
Oh
yeah. What did you ask?
Dom just answered. Acuna, he signed through 2030.
Ronnie is?
That's what he says.
Must be down here with the injured guys.
They're not going to get no.
Yeah, well, 20. No, actually, Dom, only 2028. But the last two options are club options. But he's only getting, he's getting $17 million a year. I mean, for a guy who, if he stays healthy, is a potential MVP, that's a pretty damn good price. No problem, Dom. No need to be sorry. I was able to look it up. Tucker going to the Dodgers and burning Bregman back to the Red Sox. So is Bregman goes back? Is that you believe that's a done deal, or do you think it you know that team when you look at the baseball team from Georgia and stuff, they have some interesting stuff. Like they have Matt Olson, he's tied up until they have a lot of guys that are tied up until that 2029 2030 season. Yeah, unfortunately, I think that's what's going to wind up happening unless the Mets can strike a deal in the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I just when I look at different things and I look at these players and stuff, and what they have and all the other kind of stuff. I mean, to me, it's just I don't know. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. It's like I said, you have some of these guys that are, they're opting out, and I'm not saying they won't get more money. Like I understand Bregman. Bregman probably wants more years. You're going to go ahead and you're going to go ahead and get more money, but you're not getting the per year. So I can understand him going, hey, you know what? Yeah, I walked away from 80 million over 2 years, but I can get 4 years at 130 million. I get 50 more million plus 2 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Looking at Alex Bregman landing spot odds, the favorite is Philly,
Really?
followed by the Yankees and the Dodgers.
Oh wow. Not the Red Sox?
Red Sox are also considered a strong contender to re-sign him, and the Tigers are a strong possibility due to their interest last season, but they're saying Philly's like the big one if they trade Bohm.
They did. Pete, I just think the thing you have is to me, if they were going to keep him, I wish they would have. My preference would have been to try and do it in this window, because I don't know how much of a bidding war they will get in with other teams. Like I don't know if Steve Cohen was sitting with him and he slid a contract that was 6 years, 175 million on the table, I don't know why Pete would say no.
Right. And looking up him, the top two are the Mets and the Nationals.
For Alonso?
Yep.
Would they offer him 170 million or something like that?
They got the money for it. They could. But I don't know. I don't know if they would, because they're saying that they're the big ones and the Mariners behind them and the Red Sox back behind them. Man,
Bregman's wife won't go to New York, maybe Philly, but would LA let an Astros cheater in the clubhouse? Yeah, I guarantee you the Dodgers would, because the Dodgers are all about winning, bro. Here's another thing we have to remember. There's potentially 2 more Japanese guys coming out. One is 25, one's 27. They're both corner infielders. I believe they're both Japanese. I don't know, where's one coming out of the KBO, the Korean baseball. There's 2, I don't want to go ahead and say something wrong. Are they? I'm just gonna say Asian players. I don't know if that's the right word or not, but hey, if it is, at this point in time, no one's watching. I'm not worrying about anybody watching the replay this late and going ahead and be like, "That son of a bitch."
Oh, you make fun of us?
You
no,
bastard.
you don't do that.
You son of a
I
bitch.
could see the Mets re-signing Pete. I could see that possible happening.
I agree.
I think they overspent on Soto thinking that he'd get him to the playoffs, but that's just
To me, you got to sign Diaz, and you got to, you sign. And a lot of people are saying, well, you don't sign Pete. You let Pete walk, and then you take that money and you sign Alex Bregman, and then you sign Josh Naylor, and you go ahead and shore up two positions from a fielding perspective. Well, the fielding perspective of this, Brett Beatty is an excellent defender. Excellent defender. And the kid just started coming into his own, from you know, from that standpoint, right? He just started coming into his own, and from that standpoint. And Naylor wasn't that much better of a first baseman. I mean, if one guy is a 9.92 and another guy's like a 9.96, 9.97, I mean, is that really that big of a difference?
yeah.
Yes, Tom, I agree. If you
I
bring
agree.
in
He
a
did.
if you bring in a Bregman, yes, you are going ahead and you are moving Beatty to second base potentially, you know. But then are you keeping Acuna Jr.? I mean, no, are you keeping Acuna or are you keeping McNeil? Well, one reason, Sean, money. If Seattle's not going to pay you, and the Mets will pay you, or some other team is going to pay you, that's why you go. If Seattle's going to offer you, just make believe 50 million, and the Mets are going to offer you 75 million, why would you settle? If all these other guys are opting out from guaranteed money, why, if you're Josh Naylor, would you turn around? Jeff McNeil go, yeah, I know it's a tough one. Yep. That's why he leaves, Shawnee. He leaves for the almighty da 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 da. You know, McNeil. If the Mets sign a guy like Bregman, McNeil or Acuna are the odd person out
True.
for the Mets. Reed gets you nowhere. That is very true. But with professional athletes, as soon as they say it ain't about the money, it's all about the money.
The money.
You know,
Let's see. Who does Pete have as a?
Scotty Boros.
Is it?
Yep. Soto's guy.
Well, he's going to ask for a ton of money.
He's probably going to ask for 200 million. He's going to have to settle in the 175 range. That's right. Bregman is Boros. So look at this. Pete Alonso's Boros. Bregman is Boros. Tariq Skubal is Boros. And the thing that happened there was crazy in that, Boros comes out and says, hey, we're $250 million apart. That's crazy. That's crazy.
All right, I need to be a baseball agent.
Yeah. Well, yes, he
5%
did.
commission.
He did ask for a lot of money last year and only got 2 years. You're 100% correct. But the problem you have, Dom, is that last year, nobody else wanted him. I think this year, you're going to have a couple of teams that are going to want him. And that changes everything. The reason why he got what he got was because at a certain point in time, Steve Cohen said, you know what? Here's what we can do for you. We're not going to keep bidding against ourselves. But now, going into this one, the Yankees would love to go ahead and put him in Yankee pinstripes.
Holy
So
crap.
we'll see what happens.
Will represents approximately 175 MLB players.
What?
Yeah. Approximately 175 of the players. He's the one. No wonder they're all making the money they are. Now he doesn't own Otani. He doesn't have him, but damn, you make 5% of each of their contracts. He made almost 41 million off of Soto's contract at 5%.
Yeah,
We're in the wrong business, Mike.
I know. Yankees need third base, shortstop, and bullpen guys. They do. They most certainly do. That's why I'm surprised you don't hear more about the potential of Bregman going there.
I mean,
You don't really hear that much about Bregman going there. But I get what you're saying there. But I think when it comes down to Pete Alonso, I think that changes things for them. Yep, Stroud. Whoops, sorry. Stroud is still in concussion protocol, so he will not be able to play. I don't know if that. I think that probably puts Houston as a underdog in their game. Grissom is a free agent. Yeah, but Grissom ain't gonna. I mean, I think he knows he's not going to get a lot of money. He did something. He was with the Yankees and played out of his mind. He'd be stupid to go ahead and and leave. Yankee Stadium. I can't. I don't see that. Yep.
I agree.
Why is that? Very very simple. Because you have a whatever you give them, some of them 25% of your payroll, and then you have to pay your wide receivers, stuff like that, and your defensive ends. And next thing you know, you don't got any money to spend on your offensive line. No, he is gone. Yankees are going with J-Dom and Spencer Jones. Oh wow. Well, that's okay.
I still
That's
think
okay.
that he
I
is a
mean,
bust.
I don't know if Grisham but then they also lost Bellinger, the Yankees, as of right now too. Bellinger's fan. People were saying that maybe Bellinger goes if the Yankees go after Alonso, maybe the Mets go after Bellinger to, play first base. I don't know how much that is true.
Let's see. The three that they say for landing spots for him are back with the Cubs, the Yankees, or San Francisco. Are the top three. It's going
Wow.
to be interesting this offseason. Yeah,
San Francisco. Huh.
Yep. Others are Mariners and Red Sox.
For Bellinger?
Yeah. But they're saying the strongest one is a Cubs reunion, especially if they lose Kyle Tucker.
Where does a Bellinger fit in Seattle? It's got to be first base.
That's
They would
need
have to
for
be
first
thinking that they
baseman.
would be losing Naylor, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not taking J-Rod out of center fields.
They say the Mariners have need for a first baseman and could be good fit for Bellinger. Could also play there or in the field.
That is true, Larkin. That Punk Uso match. I don't understand the people on in the ICW and the IWC, how some of them are saying how great that match was, that it was a freaking instant classic.
Which match was that?
Uso and Punk.
No.
People are saying they're going. The people are like, "Oh man, are you kidding me? You people, you're talking about Jay can't do this, Jay can't do that. Look at everything Jay did. Blah 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 blah." Yeah. Oh, you mean the friggin' botched neck breaker that he went ahead and did, and he rolls out of? What the hell are you talking about? Well, hey, Dom, you had 50-50 shots, so it was good. You did as good as, you did pretty good. I mean, look, the Cody, everyone knew the Cody one. That was super simple. Dom, it made sense.
We knew Jay was going to squash.
Yeah, I just can't, the thing that gets me, I honestly, I know Jade has the look, but now it's one of those things. If she has this look, it's you have to, like, to me, with her look, you almost have to kind of book her has like one of the unstoppable kind now, right? Like you have to book her. And I know it's wrong to say, but kind of like the way WCW did with Goldberg, right? Where he comes out and he beats everybody in a few minutes.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they'll do that with her.
I think you're going to see at some point, because I know Bianca's been cleared from what I read. They were actually expecting her to be here at this one and come in, but she didn't. So I'm thinking that's going to be a match there. I knew Drew wasn't going to win. Although they are making it look more and more like Cody's going to turn heel with using the belt and stuff like that.
Very true.
We'll have to see on that. And Monday night, I think you're going to get a Dom and his father match for the Intercontinental title.
Do you think that'll be at SummerSlam, or do you think, at Survivor Series, or do you think that's going to be a TV, a Raw match?
I think the way it looks like they're setting up, maybe a Survivor Series match. But then again, knowing WWE, it could be a Monday night match for all we know.
I want to know what they're doing for War Games. They advertised War Games, and they showed two guys on the poster. I'll say I was,
and you're going to get Logan Paul joining the Vision. That's already.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by that. I was a little surprised. I thought it was going to be
Brock.
I thought it was going to be Jay, but then I was like, no, they need more of a leader, so that would be Punk. But then, I was like, I don't know. And then as soon as Logan came out, I was like, all right, there's your.
I even predict, I'm like, here comes Logan to stand with Punk. He's going to knock his ass out, and sure enough.
That's true. SummerSlam, they are from the 619 San Diego, so it would make sense that match would be at SummerSlam.
Yeah. And he could be just teaming with them for War Games. That's a possibility.
I just don't. I'm just wondering what they're going to do. Where's the rest of these teams coming from?
Yeah,
now you're going to have Jay. We're going to have Jay and Punk on the same team for War Games.
And then who else do you get with him? Jimmy?
I don't know.
And Roman? This doesn't.
I don't.
I don't War Games with these guys as it is. Well, not with the Vision, but.
Why would anybody team up with the Vision? I can understand Logan Paul. What do you do? You're going to throw Drew over there?
I don't know. Or do they turn Cody heel before then and put him over there since Seth is out? I don't know.
I have no idea.
And is Seth really hurt, or is it a work?
I'm
seeing Lesnar with the Vision. I am.
No, I think this one has more of a real feel to it. But I don't, to me, you don't. I would think if you're selling the shoulder injury, what would be the need to have Breaker take him out?
Oh.
And that's the thing that gets me is was the beatdown enough that made him go ahead and go to the hospital? Is that what they're using it as? What What did the beatdown do for anything? Oh, then throw him
I
out
don't
of the
know.
division. It's the only thing it did. It threw him out of the division.
That's what I think. Sammy, I think you're going to see end up joining. What's his name?
That would suck.
Solo. Something tells me that. And what do you think about what they're doing with John Cena's last match? Last opponent doing that round of 16 or whatever it is.
I wish they. I mean, I understand why they're doing what they're doing. So what? They announced 2 matches on Raw. They'll announce 2 more on SmackDown.
Did they announce it this week? I didn't see anything.
It is Sheamus. They did announce the 4. They announced the they did announce it. They announced not all of it. They only announced like the 4.
I must have been in the bathroom at that point. But the way he said, you're going to have SmackDown, you're going to have Raw, NXT, and people that don't even work for this company.
Yeah,
So that makes me think they're going to bring TNA people in.
Right. It'll be more TNA, but a lot of people are thinking, "Oh my gosh, Jericho," or it could be Edge.
No, Edge has already said he's done all he can do in WWE. He's already stated that. Jericho is a possibility because to bring him back to put him in the Hall of Fame, basically. Oh yeah, you do have AAA people too. Maybe you see Psycho Sid come back.
Okay, so let's see. They have the Adam Pearce revealed who will get a chance. Cena Monday Night Raw show later in Cena's hometown. So you have the first 2 matches were revealed. It was the first match revealed was the Bulgarian Brute Rusev going against Damian Priest. And the second match was a certified banger with the King of Strong Style, Shinsuke Nakamura, going against the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus. And then on Friday SmackDown, Nick Aldis will draw the next 2 opening round matches.
Okay, so I see a Sheamus winning. And something tells me they're going to have Priest win because he has not fought Priest. That's a possibility there. I don't know what it brings to Priest for that if he does win it all the way.
Yeah, like did they say how many it is?
I think 16.
So
I think
right, with 4 competitors revealed, that leaves 12 more for the 16-minute tournament. NXT individuals don't work for the company. Promo. John Cena announced his last time is now tournament during his weekend Saturday night's main event in a promo that spotlighted other superstars, including Gunther, Dominic Mysterio, Penta, Bronson Reed, and Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, they showed them guys.
2 of the individuals revealed during the announcement video package, Rusev and Sheamus, are already in the tournament. So, yeah, it probably would make sense to go ahead and give him some pop.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, to me, it's going to be one of those things. As soon as, in my opinion, as soon as we find out who the all 16 are, I think we'll have a really good idea as to who it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like, to me, if Gunther is in there, I gotta believe that he's going to be the one. Which which makes no sense whatsoever. Because if the idea is to give somebody a push, why wouldn't it be a guy who doesn't need a push?
Right.
Gunther doesn't need a push.
No.
Gunther needs no push whatsoever.
Sheamus
Priest doesn't need a push. Like none of these first four need any kind of push.
No. Somebody like a Carmelo Hayes might need it.
It'd be big for a Carmelo Hayes. But to me, see, I just look at it from the standpoint of what will get me is I look in the ring and I see Carmelo Hayes and I see John Cena and I go,
Yeah.
both in their primes, Cena's never losing to that Punk.
No.
This ain't happening. And that's the part that's the part that I'm gonna have a hard time with. You know, if you give it to a Javon Evans or you give it to I mean, I can't imagine they do a Joe Hendry, but you know what I'm saying? Like from
I
that,
can see it. I can see it though,
you know, you could see it,
but it doesn't make sense.
but it doesn't. Yeah, but you know, if some of it just doesn't, like you sit there and you know, you count and you just go, man, whatever I'm telling you, it just doesn't add up. I'm on the calculator. I keep hitting all the buttons. When I hit equals, it doesn't add up to what it's supposed to add
I
up.
mean, I can see a possible LA Knight, possibly, which would be an interesting match.
It would. It would.
Because for John to lose to a babyface would make more sense.
Well, I think that's what has to happen. I think. I mean, you know, from that, you know, well, I mean, you would think that would be the thing. Like him and Priest. If Priest beats him, like I say, I guess, you know, what is the match? What is the match for?
Right.
Right. He is older too. That's true.
Is John going to have a belt on him at that time, or the person he's going against have a belt and he walk? You know,
I think
the belt.
Yeah, I think John is done with belts unless he goes for IC to what? Because that would, if he won IC, that would be the grand. He'd have a grand slam, right?
I think so. I'm not
Yeah.
100% sure. I can't remember.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just, you know, when I look at it from a standpoint of is, you know, for me the thing that sucks the most is he's gonna lose. And to me, I just think that is wrong. But I understand Undertaker lost his, the Dudley Boys lost theirs. You know, Sting won his. Ric Flair I think in probably 3 or 4 of his this is the last time I'm wrestling matches. I think he won 3 of them. You know, I mean, you know, Undertaker lost his, you know, from that standpoint, you know, so like, I mean, I kind of sort of, you know, get it, but I don't like it. I would really love to go ahead and see him win. HBK, yeah. Yep. No, I thought Taker lost his. I may be wrong. You might be right, Dami. So
I mean,
if
technically, yes, he lost it, but he did come back. So it's kind of like,
I mean, are they counting that horrible?
the AJ match, yeah.
That's right. And he did win. So maybe you could do something along those lines. Then maybe you bring a heel on and you have him go ahead and beat. I don't think you can yeah, thank you guys. I don't think you can like if you could have had that AJ Styles match as the final match. That would have been good, right? Because beating AJ doesn't do anything for AJ. Like if you have a Gunther and you have him didn't Angle go against Corbin, whatever the hell his name was at that point? It wasn't Happy Corbin, wasn't Sad Corbin.
King Corbin?
I don't know if it was King Corbin. I don't know what the hell he was.
I mean, I could see a possibility, and I don't want to see this match, but a Cody Rhodes match. John beats him and turns Cody heel that way. I don't know. I don't want to see that because I've already seen it twice. Don't want to see it a third time. But
Yeah.
that's another one that's out there that could be, hey, I want to be in this tournament, or I'm going to be in this tournament. I'm going to win it. John's going to beat me, and then I'm going to just be so pissed off that I just go nuts.
Yeah. I mean, the first 4 announcements there really doesn't make any sense for any of those guys to be the last match.
And are those two, the winner of those two, then do they fight each other? Do they fight somebody else? Like, there's no.
I haven't seen a bracket, so I don't know how the brackets go. Like, I don't know. Are they in the same bracket? Are they in opposite corners, or are they are they even on opposite sides of the bracket? I have no idea. You think you could go ahead and at least show a bracket and place them?
Yeah.
So people have an idea of what happens. I don't know. Now, is it one of those? So here's the thing. Let's say they are the same bracket. We're going to get Sheamus and Rusev again.
I know.
We're going to get
Sheamus
Shinsuke against Rusev, or
any of those matches. Whoever the next match, if that's what they're doing, is going to suck.
Yeah.
You get Rusev versus Sheamus, or you get Shinsuke versus Priest, or Sheamus versus Priest, or it just does no.
Yeah.
None of those guys need a push. None of those guys need a flip per se.
I mean, that's why I think if you're looking from a standpoint of that's where if you would have like they should be in opposite corners of the bracket.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then, and then you start mixing in guys that, make it believable of the winning and everything.
This guy could possibly go all the way.
Right. But like I said, I mean, I think
none of those guys are going to go all the way.
Yeah. I think if Gunther is going to be in it, I think you're looking at him probably being the last person that they announce. And the final bracket is so-and-so, and it's Gunther. And I think once you do that, I just have a feeling that it's going to be him and stuff. I mean,
it is possible they bring Gunther back as a face too, which then it makes okay if John Cena loses to a face.
That'd be tough.
I don't know if they would do it, but usually when they take long breaks, I guess they come back as a good guy, or they come back as a bad guy, depending on what they were prior to. Because I think
the funny thing is this. I mean, are you I know it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But if when you have a Gunther, what are you doing? Are you bringing him back? You're bringing him back on Raw. That's where he was. He was on Raw with Jay and and all those guys, with CM Punk, with all those guys. He was there. That Raw, potential main event title holders. It's just so fucking crowded. With Jay and Roman and LA and Punk and Breaker. Now you go ahead and you add, now you wind up adding in a Gunther back to the mix. Seth, when he comes back. Like, holy cow.
Well, looking at with Gunther, there's no timeline right now for him to return.
Right.
Instead is out for indefinitely. So he might not be on there. I don't know about Seth, but
everything I heard about Seth is out at best case scenario up until Elimination Chamber. That's what I heard. That's what I read.
That's what I'm looking at now. They're saying not until 2026. Maybe. If it's not a work, then do they have? Let's see. John Cena's 16 round. I don't even know what they call it.
What?
They're calling it Cena's last
think they call it the Last Time Is Now tournament.
Let's see. Dude, I'm looking to see if anybody has anything besides what we know already.
What is it called? It's called the Last Time. Yeah, it's called the Last Time Is Now tournament.
So Rusev is what? Monday Night Raw, right?
Yes.
Is Priest Raw or is he SmackDown?
Too late for Mania. Yeah, I think 6 months. Yeah, if he's out 6 months, it's gonna be too late for Mania. Ronnie trying to guard Wemby.
So they're saying the first round will Rusev will square off with Damian Priest in a battle between Raw and SmackDown. Shinsuke will face both matches scheduled for next week's Raw. Pierce noticed that Nick Aldis will be announced in 2 more on SmackDown. Huh. I guess there's not really a bracket, I guess. You'd think they would have one.
They don't. I mean, they haven't announced. No one knows what the layout is. Priest to SmackDown.
The Miz was in there. Solo Sikoa, Knight, McIntyre, and Gunther.
In the video.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Yeah, and that's what they're saying, that you look at the other thing. You already, you had
Dominic's in there. Baron Corbin is teased as a participant. Oh God, I hope not. Penta would not be a bad one for him to go out to be a push. I could see a possibility of Chris Jericho being in this tournament somehow. I could. It would not be a good match for John because Jericho does not belong in a ring anymore.
What if it's a guy like Braun Breaker?
Oh.
I mean, that would be a hell of a launch.
Would be. Because I don't see him doing it for Bronson Reed. I just don't think he's there yet.
No, I agree. I mean, if you literally have a guy that you could. He's already gone ahead and took out Seth. He has a good, you throw him in the brackets. You got to figure the bracket would have to be. Well, he'd have to go ahead and he'd have to wrestle.
Do they possibly put him against Bronson?
Because you figure no, you see, when do you have the finals of this?
Well, you got
if his last match is on Saturday the 13th.
Let me look at the calendar here.
Do you do it on Monday the 12th? I mean, do you do it on that Monday, the 8th, the 9th, or the 8th, whatever it is?
So you're going to have 2 matches on Monday night?
Yep.
Okay.
Then they'll announce 2 more at SmackDown, which means that'll be 2 more the following. So you'll have next week, you'll have half of the field announced, and you'll basically have, you'll go from those 8, you'll go to 4.
It looks like the 8th of December, maybe.
So that's what you'd have to have. So you could have Braun Breaker in there.
The 8th or the 12th is where you're looking at, roughly. Because it could come down to that Friday night as the last match to see those two are going to be going against each other to see who faces John Cena the next day.
Yeah. So you technically you could have Braun Breaker in this tournament.
You could.
And that would be a guy that you could, Now, again, to me, it's one of those guys. You know, if you look at what Cena did, how Cena carried the company, but that's going to be tough with Cody,
Right.
right? You know, from that standpoint. So, but
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
Braun can carry the company yet.
I don't think you can. I don't. Yeah, I don't think you can do that with Cody still there.
But you could have him beat Cena. Gives him a nice push because he can claim that he beat Cena in his last match and make him feel like he can take on anybody and beat him basically.
But you got to push him for the title.
You would.
If you're gonna beat John Cena, you would think it would be a guy that you would want to push to main event status with a title
What I would like to see if they did it,
and has
Braun
age.
Breaker in that tournament, Braun Breaker versus Lesnar. That I think would be a good match.
Be a hell of a TV match.
Yeah.
I don't know. Would you have, man? Yeah, I mean, oof. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like with Lesnar, I would have thought the way you had him, and from everything that I read on with the online with the
Yeah.
internet wrestling community, the IWC, was that John asked for the squash.
And that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
That'd be a good Mania. Yeah. I mean, they could work it up, but you would have to be Lesnar. I think would have to be more involved somehow. Maybe he joins the vision for the War Games and then turns on them at the end of it if they win or lose, which would set up.
Yeah, I mean, you look at a breaker, you have him go ahead and you have him beat up John Cena in his last match, and you have him end there. Then somehow you have him go against Lesnar. You're at a point where you can't have him lose.
Right.
So now you got to beat Lesnar too.
I mean,
Then what's the sense of bringing Lesnar back for him the job for Breaker? Like, why have him come back and beat the ever living crap out of Cena to lose to Breaker?
but I mean, they could have more than one match too, because you know how they are with things. 3 matches, you got to have it.
I understand that, but Breaker's got to win 2 of those 3. And what I'm saying, if you're having him retire John Cena, he can't all of a sudden go and lose.
No, he would. The first match, I think he would beat Lesnar there.
You know what I'm saying? So that's one of those things.
And maybe at Mania he loses to. I don't know. He's got to get a title somewhere. Either he beats Punk or he beats Cody, one of the two, at some point. If it ends up being him with Cena, that would be the only thing that would make sense. After beating Cena, you'd almost have to put a title on him at some point before Mania. Or at Mania. One of the two. That's if Punk holds it that long. So something tells me he's not.
Yeah.
And are Cody and him going to also jump in this last tournament for Cena or not? You know what I mean?
I don't think so. I would think anybody that we have seen John go against during this in 2024, I'd be surprised if we saw any of those. If they are in the tournament, I find it surprising that any of those guys would be the final.
The only one that makes any sense, is like I said, would be Cody, to where he loses to Cena and goes heel. Other than that, nothing else makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
You're still not doing anything with Becky. Yeah, she got up and ran it on Monday night, but whoop-de-doo.
Well, they'll do something with her and Maxine. I think what you're going to wind up seeing, I mean, I don't know, this I think you see. I think you see her beat the crap out of Maxine the next time they go, and Natalia um, runs in, and Becky beats the crap out of her. And I think you get this Natty Nightheart character, the one that she has shown in Underground and in some of these other wrestling promotions
That's
that
true. Possibility.
they've let her go to. Let's go, Allen and Ginter. Yeah, Allen and Ginter's tough, Don. $130, 2 hits.
December 3rd is when it's due out. My store will probably have it a day or two before.
Yeah,
will let you know, sir.
I would love to get one, but I think I'm gonna wait and see. I'm gonna take my chances and see what happens at the LCS and see if the LCS has it for less than that price.
I mean, I expect mine to probably be right around $10 more, just because they got to make a little bit on it. I know that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. Even if it was a little even or a little bit more, that'd be fine.
Well, hey, when it comes in, I can let you and Dommy know. You guys can split $1 together.
Yeah, true. I'm just saying, so I gotta believe, we're gonna get basketball out in Ginter.
Would you?
Why not?
I mean,
Why wouldn't you?
See, if I saw the checklist, like who was going to be in it, because they have basketball players in that. So you had Usain last year.
Yeah, but I think you're always limited. The part that I think would be the tough part is the non-basketball players, and because what do you do from a celebrity musician and all those types of oh look
the lighthouses they have this year.
Wow, Dom almost bought a case.
Yeah, I'm surprised the checklist hasn't come out yet. I mean, I know usually right around the pre-order they'll put it out, but and I see Cosmic Chrome Baseball, Black and White Baseball, and Topps Chrome Update Baseball are due out sometime. It doesn't say when. I don't think you're going to see anybody buying the Update or Chrome Update. Yeah, no, I wish they would put a checklist out, but they don't. Well, I don't know if it's 2 million, but he's sitting nicely in my collection.
Who did you get last year?
Dami pulled a Daniels autograph to Mini.
Oh, wow.
And he sent it to me. So I'm not allowed to send any of that certain guy's card to him anymore. I don't know why he's so upset about that guy. I don't know what that guy did to him, but Oh, yeah, I don't know what's going to go on WWE. I think it's going to be a cluster F with this tournament. It's going to be people that you don't even think. I mean, do they bring back some of the freaking old people? Who knows?
I mean, you think about it from this standpoint, that's going to be the last match of 2025.
I do, Dom. I do.
That will be the last match of 2025.
I would have loved to seen and Stone Cold go at it, but that match now would look terrible.
Oh yeah, I think as far as we are concerned, as far as fans go and everything, I just think from it's just I don't know. I think fans are going to be disappointed in it.
I don't think it's going to be the people we think it's going to be,
especially if it's Gunther with all the talk.
Yeah,
and
Joe Henry, I hope not.
Yeah, and I think the thing you have to look at is that, and I don't know if Lachlan is still here. Maybe he would remember when Cena went up against Angle and he got that little push and they had that match. Did Cena win?
No,
I can't remember.
no. His
Okay.
first match against him where he walked out, ruthless aggression.
Yeah, he lost,
smashed
right?
her. No, he lost that, yes.
Yeah, so even though he lost, it still was a jump start for him, for Cena.
Yes.
You know. Yeah, okay, yeah, he lost.
I remember that because I laughed
Oh,
at
I mean,
it.
from that standpoint, you know, but depending on who it is, I mean, we don't know. Could
No.
Obafemi be in this? Could Trip Williams be in it? Could, you know, some of these NXT guys? I mean, you know, that's the thing. You just don't know. You gotta believe, though, for the most part, it should be guys that he has not fought. So you shouldn't see Randy, you shouldn't see Punk, you shouldn't see AJ, we shouldn't see Cody. You know what I'm saying? Like we shouldn't see Logan Paul.
I think you're going to see Randy in this tournament. I think you're going to see Logan Paul. I don't know how many of the NXT stars you'll actually see. One or two, maybe. But I'm not even sure of that. I mean, it's hard to say. And when are they going to pick those guys? They're going to do that because they said that they chose the two on Monday night. They're choosing two on Friday night. Did they pick anybody? What is it? Is it tonight to do NXT or last night?
Tuesdays.
Did they pick anybody there for them? I don't think so.
No.
So they just throwing them guys in randomly. It just kind of it throws me off because it's like that. Just I understand they want to bring those people in, but I mean, if you bring anybody from NXT and they beat Cena, they have to stay on the roster because it would make no sense to send them back down to NXT.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying there's I don't know what makes sense.
It's gonna have to be somebody on one of the rosters that's there now.
Right.
Rosters. Like I can't see it being anybody from TNA or AAA or NXT. It's gonna be one of the people from the main rosters.
And what are you doing with that?
Yeah.
Like that's the big thing. You know, is it a push for, because if it's a push for someone, then a Randy, an LA Knight, and you know, even though he's there already, Sheamus, Rusev, Priest,
Doesn't make any
Nakamura,
sense.
like none of those guys, like, you know, need a push, because you would think, again, whoever is taking out John Cena in his last match, and when we're saying he's losing, that's got to be more. It's got to be a momentous type occasion,
Which would make it a Braun or somebody like that that's young.
right?
If one where he's going out as John's winning, it could be anybody. It could be a Randy. It could be a Sheamus. And then, you know, it could be any of those guys if he's going out winning.
If he's going out winning, you probably don't want it to be a young up and coming star. You know, you want it to be more of a middle of the road, a guy who won't be, you know, a guy who's you know, a guy like a Randy who really is in the latter part of his career rather than the beginning and stuff. To me, you know, you make him win. You make an opponent beat John, make that person win, in my opinion, if you plan on giving a big push.
You know, and
if you don't plan on giving a push, I don't know why you would have any of those. Like Obafemi, you have Obafemi come up, and then you have John Cena in his 40s taking out this frigging guy who they've been, you know, I don't want to say featured as a monster, but you know what I'm saying? Like featured as one of those guys that, you know, my gosh, this is a guy's a beast.
So, you know, what John's saying, that it could be somebody that doesn't even work for the company. Do you think, because I don't think they've ever had a match, that they bring Daniel Bryan back? Because with having Nikki in there already.
I see. I don't know what TNA. I mean, what AEW's non.
He doesn't have a contract with them anymore.
I thought he was on TV though.
He's a, what do they call it? God, I just read it. It's like, because his contract ran out in 2024, though he and Connor are in talks to continue working with the company on a handshake deal. His contract is not renewed, but he wants to stay involved with WD after it addresses health issues. But see, I don't know. I could see that as a possibility. Did Cena face Daniel Bryan WWE? Well, they did. SummerSlam. But I could see that being a possibility. Saying somebody who doesn't work for the company.
I mean, that or Jericho.
As I said, Edge said he's basically done all he can do in WWE, which is kind of true. He's what, a 2-time Hall of Famer or a single-time Hall of Famer. So I mean, it really makes it's. I can see Jericho, but again,
Jericho comes back to go ahead and have 1 or 2 matches so they can put him in the Hall of Fame.
right?
That's the only reason why Jericho comes back. Ain't no, and you know, what do you don't tell me you're bringing back a guy at that age. You see what he, if you ever watch some of the AEW stuff,
I have.
you see what kind of shape he's in. You're not bringing that guy to go ahead and strap a belt on him.
Right.
JBL or Ziggler? Yeah, I don't know. Well, it could be because, again, he said ones that don't work for this company. So that opens up TNA. So it opens up a Ziggler. It opens up
Ryder
a
as well.
who?
Zack Ryder.
Yeah, it opens up a Zack Ryder. It opens up a bunch of those. Or Matt Cardona.
Okay, so Jericho wouldn't be it because his doesn't end until the end of this year. And he's speculated to come back for a run next year as a retirement tour. So maybe it's another retirement tour. I'm not ruling out The Rock either, so because you never know.
I mean, not wrong.
Maybe we see the Spirit Squad.
Oh gosh, no.
I mean, I don't think there's many that Cena has not faced, besides somebody like an LA Knight, a Gunther, a Breaker. I mean, I just don't know. But hey, any of those guys that we said could be any one of them.
Yeah.
I don't see a TNA person beating John. That would be a win for him, I would imagine. Because it'd make no sense for WWE to have one of their guys lose to that. But who knows?
Yeah. I don't.
Maybe they bring Sting back for a match against him.
I gotta hope not.
Well, you hear Flair's music for his 20th time.
That would be absolutely
Insane.
I just. Yeah, I got nothing for that one.
What would really be funny is to see McMahon come down for that match. Here comes good old Vince at 90. No Walker.
Yeah.
I mean, you could add potentially a Shane McMahon. I know he's talked about coming back, but that makes no sense either. It's got to be somebody that either it's a guaranteed win or a guaranteed loss. No in middle type ground. And like I said, I'm pretty sure they already know who it's going to be because it's all pre-planned. But
yeah, I don't know what I don't know. Again, that the price, the problem that we have is we don't really have any kind of uh,
The scattered
any
one,
kind of idea, any kind of plan going forward and
yeah,
everything. Like,
like
what are you
with that
using?
guy.
What are you using it for? Again, is it a jumping off? Is it a to give a guy a shot? What? Like
Because
what is
that's a
it?
good point too. Do you give a guy a shot even if he loses to John Cena? It's still in his belt that he faced him. I mean, that's always a thing too.
No idea.
So I mean, like I said, I don't see the Jeff Hardy or any of those guys being it. It has to be somebody on the current roster or one people who literally doesn't work for the company, like a Daniel Bryan or a Chris Jericho. That's the only thing that makes sense.
But they're gonna have to show up and be a part of the tournament.
Right.
So that means if they announced 4 out of the 16, they tomorrow went Friday night, they do the other 4. That's half of it.
Yeah.
If they, you would think. I
The
mean,
following Monday,
again,
we'll probably do four
I
more.
mean, I don't necessarily know if they have to have NXT go ahead and announce the people. They can just pull the names out. I mean, I don't think that matters.
Sure.
They have the names in the
I'm
big
working.
jugs in the big basket, right? So
Right.
if you have 2, 4, 6, 8, you have 8 after this week. The next 8 will be done next week.
Right.
So that means after Monday, after next week, you'll have 8 more names. Right? No, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry. You'll have 4 more names, and you'd have 2 guys moving on.
Right.
So that's what I don't understand. When you look from a calendar perspective,
That's what I was looking at.
right?
Because you had the 4 picked on the 3rd.
The 3rd you had 4, the 7th you have 4. So now, that is 8. That's half of it.
Now, do you pick 4 more on the 10th?
I would
And
think
4
you'd do
more on
4
the
more
14th?
on the 10th, and then 4 more on the 7th, on the 14th, because
That
the
gives you 8.
3rd fights the 10th.
Right.
On the 7th, those guys are fighting on the 14th.
So that gives you 8 by the 14th. Then Monday, you'll announce 4 more.
Then
So
you
that's
could
12.
right, and then you go into Survivor Series week. After you get another 4, which gets you to 12, then you have 4 more to do. You're announcing those Survivor Series week,
When is Survivor Series? What day is that?
the 29th. This is what I'm saying. They have to
Okay,
figure.
so I'm looking at so you had if you have 12 on the 17th, they announced 4 more for the 21st. That gives you 16. You
Right,
have the 4
but
for the 17th on the 24th, then they pick 4 more on the 28th that don't fight until the 5th.
2, 4,
That's
6, 8,
possible.
2, 4. No, no, no. You need 4. You have 4. You have 8. So you're picking half of it this week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 guys this week. So that means on the 10th and the 7th and the 14th, let's say you're going to get the other 8.
Right.
So you have a full bracket as of the 14th, but you've already had 2 matches
So
or
you could
4 matches.
definitely have this ended on the 24th. That's a possibility. I think the 24th or the 28th, you're going to see the final one. That's what I'm going to guess that's how they're going to do it. That way, before Survivor Series, you can say, hey, this is who John Cena is going to face on the 13th, which is going to be basically 2 weeks away. Because that makes sense. They do everything like 2 weeks out. John Cena is going to face Gunther in 2 weeks at Saturday Night Main Event. I looked at tickets for that. Nosebleeds, $560
Oh yeah.
for a Saturday Night Main Event. I'm like, no.
So how do you have the finals on the 28th?
Easy. It's a Friday night SmackDown.
No. I'm just trying to figure out how you get there from a match perspective.
You got a point there. Yeah, them fight there. That gives you 2 winners there. The 14th has 2 more winners. That's 4. 17th, you have 2 more. That's 6. The 21st, you have 2 more. That's 8. That'll take you down to 8 people. The 24th would knock you down to 6. The 28th would knock you down to 4. Monday the 1st would knock you down to
Because you
2.
But if you're doing 4 matches, and so after this week they announce, so the first matches say don't start the 10th. So if you get the
They're not starting on the 10th?
Huh?
They would start the 10th, right? The ones they announced this Monday would be on the next Monday, which would be the 10th. Technically, the 10th and the 14th should be the first 8 guys fighting each other. That would leave you 4 guys. I'm seeing maybe potentially the 8th you see the final one. And then they're like, well, you're going to see this guy face John Cena this Saturday.
But I don't see how you do it calendar-wise.
We're looking at it, it's like the only way I could come up with it. Because you do the 10th.
You have to understand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay. So you have to have 8 matches to get out of the first round. So if you have matches on the 10th, right, you have 2 matches there.
Right.
And the 14th, you have 2 matches there. That's 4. Then you've only done half the bracket because that's 8, right?
Right. So then the 17th, you'll have 4 matches. And the 21st, you'll have 4 matches.
No, you have 2. So you'll get, but what I'm saying though is you'll only be past the first round. A 16-team tournament bracket has 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds.
Yeah, but the WWE might not do it that way.
AJ, what's happening, buddy? Welcome.
So if you have,
it doesn't make a difference. You can't change a bracket. I mean, you could, but you can't. You'd have to have something happen. If you're going with a true bracket, your first round is 8 matches, right? So if you have 2 matches on the 10th, 2 matches on the 14th, that's 4. 2 matches on the 17th, then 2 matches on the 21st.
Okay, but wait a minute now.
Now you're down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you're down to 8. You're down to 8 people.
Is it 16 matches or just 16 people?
It's 16 people, but it's 8. You have 8 matches the first week, right? When you break it down, it's 8 matches,
and then 8
4,
matches the following week.
Then 2, then 1. So what you'd have to do is you would have to figure out if you had the finals, semifinals. I mean, you could have.
You'd have to have the semifinals on the 8th and the finals on the 12th. It would only make sense to get it there. Because if you have 8 matches there and you have 8 matches the 17th and the 21st, that's 16 matches, but that takes you down to 2, 4, 6, 8 guys. Then you have 2 matches on the 24th, takes you down to 6 guys. 2 matches on the 28th takes you down to 4. So then you'd have 1 match on the 2nd, 1 match on the 5th, and then those 2 guys would fight on the 8th. That's the only thing I can see that makes sense to make it to where it would fit to get him ready for the match against John Cena that week. I mean, if that's how they do it, The hell knows. What's up, AJ? I mean, that's because you got to have it end that week, either the 8th or the 12th. And I can't see him doing it on the 12th because that person he just got beat up on Friday night and you're going to go have him face John on Saturday?
Yeah.
It would have to end the 8th. It would make sense somehow. Or do you have a possibility of doing that match at double disqualification? Those guys are just taken out, and now you got what's left. I don't know.
All right. Because if you look at it, crap, where is it? Right there, it's right there. That right there is a 16-team bracket. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay,
So,
yeah, I see what you're saying.
right? So if you had
on the 10th, you're going to have 2 matches. So that would be that top bracket there. Then Friday night, you go to the other side, the blue side.
So this would be, we'll call this the 10th.
Right. And then the blue
and
side.
And then just for yucks, we'll call this here
the 14th.
14th.
So you have 2 winners from each of those.
And then we'll call this one right here. What's that?
That would be the 21st.
No, we'll say 17th.
Okay. I was trying to keep it red and blue since that's what they are.
All right.
And then that'd be the 21st.
That'd be 21.
And then you have.
Okay. So now you're at 21. So if you go to the following week,
the 24th,
you could go ahead and you could have 24. And then let's just say for yucks, 24. Then what do you do? The following would be what?
Right. The one in the blue there needs to be 28. You have 2 24s.
Well, yeah, because I'm saying there's 2 matches on the 24th. Because there's 2 matches on all the other days.
Did we mess up then?
No.
Oh, there's 4 and 4. Okay. So then you would have on the 28th. Right.
And then you have the 28th would be here. You'd have 2 matches on the 28th.
Right. And then you'd have semifinals on the 1st.
Then right. So then you would have this on the 1st. This one on the 1st.
No, I think that one's going to be on the 5th. I think SmackDown will be on the 5th. Is what I'm thinking.
You don't.
So then they could have the final one on the 8th.
You think they would do that?
I think so. That way you have all the, both brands having equal matches all the way down until the end. And then Monday night would get the final. That's the only thing I think that makes sense out of it all. Because if you do both of them there, then do you do the on the 5th and next following Saturday he fights Cena? That's a possibility.
Can't get my freaking.
It's either the 5th or the 8th. That's when it's going to end. It's got to either be the week before or that Monday before.
I mean, I think it's got to be well, you could be right. They do one final. They could do one final on the 5th. One final on the 1st. One final on the 5th. This way they give a SmackDown and a Raw a finals. A semifinals, and then you put this on the 8th.
It's got to be it's the only way I can see it. I mean, like you said, it could work the other way.
There's unless you stack more, there's no way you could go ahead and get this. Have who he's going to be facing,
right,
on the 28th of.
Well, the 13th of December.
On the 28th of November.
Yeah,
so you
there's
can
no way.
promote it for 2 weeks.
I mean, you'd really have to. You'd have to cram more than 2 matches in.
And in reality, what are you really promoting? It doesn't, like, the who doesn't matter.
No.
I don't necessarily know if you have to promote the who.
And you're not going to see the bigger guys till you get to that like second or third round.
No, they have to be in the first round. They have to be in that first round. They got to be announced.
True. That's true. You got a point there.
See, that's what I'm saying. So after this week, you already have had 4 guys, and you're gonna have another 4 guys. After next week, we're gonna know the field of 16.
Right.
I mean, that's just the way it has to be.
Yeah, that's just I don't.
Yeah.
The way they're doing things just confuses the hell out of people.
I don't know.
We'll see.
All I know is I'm going to take off here in a minute.
I agree. Thanks a lot for hanging out, everybody. John, thanks a lot for being here.
No problem, brother. And I will definitely see you all on Tuesday.
Yep. Episode 149 is over.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Much appreciated.